this is Trisha Williams with CMCstamps.com. Thanks for checking out my video today all about Watercolor 101. So all the basics. We're going to go over how you mix your watercolor, what watercolor really is, and the tools that you need to do it. All right, and then I'll do some separate videos later about different types of washes that you can do. All right, let's just jump in. Thanks. Okay, welcome to the world of watercoloring. I love watercolors. They're a little unpredictable, super fun, flowy, and soft, and there's lots of ways to fix any mistake. So today we're going to go over a couple of things. First, this is what we're going to use today, and I have a little bit of a beginner kit that I suggest people that are brand new. So I'll show you that in a little bit. We're also going to go over how to mix your color. Okay, in a separate video, I'm going to show you how to do wet to wet, wet to dry, and creating a wash. With this basic class, we're going to focus on these two cards today. I'm going to show you other samples towards the end. And really, these are just simple. The focus is on the wash. So this is what I suggest for a beginner kit if you're just starting out with watercoloring. You can get all these supplies through me. You can contact me through cmcstamps.com, and I'd be happy to help you. And of course, if you order with me, I like to take care of you, give you a gift, and send catalogs. Okay, first things first, you need the right kind of paper. That is essential. And Stampin' Up! Has this amazing new fluid water paper, and I love this. You can usually get about 2 to 3 cards per page, which is perfect. They thought that through, and I love it. I love it. It absorbs super well. So you want to make sure that you're not just using regular cardstock, that you're using a specific kind. If you want to refer to what kinds of paper I've used to do watercoloring, go ahead and watch my video. Link is above. The next essential thing that you are going to want to grab are these agua painters from Stampin' Up. There's 2, and I love it because they basically unscrew right here. And if you want to know more about the agua painters, go ahead and check out my video specifically on those. I don't want to waste our time today on that, but just know that you can fill it with water and use it over and over again. And I love it. Okay, another essential, get 2 of them. There's a big and a smaller size. And then you have to use Stays On ink. You just have to, you guys. This is the permanent ink, and it is perfect for watercolor because you're working with so much flowy water. You do not want it to smear or smudge. And I like to have the refill on hand since it does dry out. And it may just be me, but I think it smells super yummy. This is the Stays On cleaner that Stampin' Up! Sells, and obviously you can see what it looks like in its original packaging. I'll show you how to use that later on. So now that you know the supplies, let's go ahead and get started. I've already done some steps to our card today, as you can tell here. So really, I'm just focusing on the basics with you guys so you can see. 2 ways of getting ink on your ink pad to use with your agua painter. The 2 ways to do that are 1, you can squish your palms together like that, and it makes a little bit of a palette there. Or 2, feel free to just do 1 little drop, and I wouldn't do more than a drop. Just 1 little drop of your inker. Be cautious that you don't do too much. And then there's a couple ways that we can do this. I found I like the wet to wet. So that being said, I'm going to squeeze the water out of this just a little bit. So now some water is in there, and I'm going to go ahead and wet my surface in the shape that I want to have, which is really cool. And then it depends on how much pigment you want. You can either use your reinker, or I like to just use this here, and I'm squeezing water as I go, and I can kind of decide how pigmented I want it. See how I already got it wet? That's kind of cool because now it just kind of washes down where I want it to be. And then to clean, you just squeeze back and forth. Okay, so what I do is I just get some extra washi tape that's retired that I'm no longer using, and often I put it on my pants to get some lint so that it's not going to super stick to my project. And then I go ahead and lay it down on each side, border each side of my paper, kind of flatten it out as I'm going. And what this does, it's really cool. It basically will dry flat, and you could do the tops, but I'm not going to waste our time on that. This is in my next video. Make sure you come back to learn about the different types of washes. And then all you would do is glue it on there. That is one of the most simple cards. I used the stitched rectangle dies, and I also used the, excuse me, what is it called? I used the shimmery white cardstock, and I just love it because it has a little shine to it. All right, let's real quickly, I'm almost done with this video, but I did want to show you how to stamp and do one more project. And then I'm going to show you my other cool projects and how to clean off your stamps. A couple stamps from this Artfully Aware stamp set. And my last one I used Here's to a Strong Woman. Okay. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and stamp this image first. That turned out really cool. Then I also suggest taking a baby wipe, especially since this stamp is clean and I don't want to overdo it with the cleaner. And I just dab little bits, and then you can do some kind of back and forth. But the key is to not smother it, because you don't want it to go underneath and ruin the sticker of your cling stamp, because that would ruin your stamp. So then you let it soak, and I already did that with these other two here. Take a dry paper towel, and I tend to like to put it in half. And why don't you enjoy some music for a second while I finish this up. Now I think that this is dried enough that we can go ahead and color. I think watercolor looks cool, and there's some variance in the transparency. You know, there's some dark and light. So I just will leave it that way. Let it dry and then put my card together. Let's go ahead and finish our last card. I'll show you my samples, and you already have seen the rest. Okay, simple as it can be. It's almost dry. You can also use your heat tool on level 1 to dry this further and speed up that process. If you're like me and you're fast, that is a helpful tip, a Trisha hack. You can get a lighter or a darker wash depending on how much concentration you use. I find that if you use a refill inker, you tend to get a more concentrated look. You know, it will dry some more, but it turned out darker than this one. So this one has more water and this one has more ink. Same here, more water and more ink. So that shows you that you can get a different gradient of watercolor colors. All right, here we go. That's my design. This one is actually not watercolored, but it's a stamp set that is meant to look watercolored, and it's really fun. I just did a rainbow. So I did stamp this in, I think, just Memento, because there's no water involved here. And I stamped this little saying separate, and then I stamped these all the way across. That one's a kind of a fun trick to make it look like you are doing some watercoloring. And this one, I got the idea from someone else. I really like it. I just changed it a little with the paper. A little trick, Trisha hack. These little squares are made of watercolor paper, but this one does not need to be colored because it's so big it won't even show it. So just color 2. And the little cute embellishments that are the Lifesaver, they're on their way to ship to me soon. I'm pretty stoked about that. Okay, this one is someone else's card design. I just changed the colors. And I did the wet to wet wash on this one. This one I think I did wet to dry. I just quickly put on some color and made it more pigmented. This is also wet to wet, and then once it dried, I stamped over it. And I colored these little guys, you guys, with the blends. So that is it. You have now seen the cards I'm going to make at my Watercolor 101 class. And I think you're now a watercolor pro. Go ahead and check my other videos out if you want to know more about certain things like the agua painter or the types of washes that you can do. Thank you again for visiting. You can visit me anytime at cmcstamps.com. We'll see you later. Bye. Well, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful for you. I sure loved it. You can visit me anytime at cmcstamps.com. Stands for Color Me Crazy. Thanks. Bye.